Chapter 1. Whispers of War. In the city of Troy, life is peaceful. People laugh and work under the warm sun. But even in this happy place, dark whispers begin to spread. They talk of a great war that might come soon. Paris, a young prince with bright eyes and a kind heart, walks through the city. He loves his home and its people. But deep inside he feels a strange restlessness. He dreams of a love so powerful, it could change everything. Little does he know, his dream is about to become real. One day, as Paris walks through the market, he hears the whispers growing louder. "War is coming," say the people, "a great battle that will shake the earth." Paris feels a shiver run down his spine. He wonders who could be so angry as to attack his beautiful city. Paris decides he must do something. He goes to his father, King Priam, a wise and old man who has ruled Troy for many years. "Father," Paris says, "the people are scared. They talk of war. What can we do?" King Priam looks at his son with sad eyes. "My son," he says, "I have heard the whispers too. Our city is strong, but we must be ready for anything. You must go and talk to our allies, remind them of their friendship with Troy." Paris nods, understanding the weight of his task. He prepares to leave, thinking of the journey ahead. He knows it won't be easy, but he feels a fire in his heart. He wants to protect his home and the people he loves. As Paris travels, he sees many things: beautiful landscapes, vast seas, and cities bustling with life. He meets kings and warriors, telling them about Troy and its need for friends. Many promise to help, touched by Paris's passion and the love for his city. But as he travels, Paris also hears more about the reasons for the war. It's not just about land or power. It's about a promise made long ago, an oath that ties many kings and princes together. And at the center of it all is a woman named Helen, said to be the most beautiful in the world. Paris feels a strange pull in his heart when he hears her name. He wonders what she is like and why so many would fight for her. His journey takes him to Sparta, the city where Helen lives. He knows he must be careful. Sparta is a powerful city, and its king, Menelaus, is not a man to be taken lightly. In Sparta, Paris is welcomed as a guest. He is careful with his words, speaking of peace and friendship. But then he meets Helen. From the moment he sees her, he knows his life will never be the same. She is as beautiful as the rumors say, but there's more. She has a sadness in her eyes, a longing for something different. They talk, and Paris learns about her life. She is trapped in a marriage she didn't choose, longing for freedom and love. Paris feels the pull between duty and his heart. He came to Sparta as a diplomat, but now he faces a choice that could change everything. As days pass, Paris and Helen grow closer. They dream of a life together, away from the duties and expectations that bind them. But they know it's not simple. Running away would mean war, a great conflict that would involve many. Paris is torn. He loves Helen, but he also loves Troy and his people. Can he really risk everything for love? The whispers of war grow louder, and Paris knows he must decide. His choice will set everything in motion, a story of love and conflict that will be told for generations. Finally, Paris makes his choice. He and Helen leave together, sailing towards Troy. It's a moment of joy and fear, the beginning of a story that will echo through time. As they look at the sea, they know they are heading into a storm. But for now, they have each other, and for them, that's enough. Back in Troy, the city still thrives. But the whispers have turned into shouts. War is coming, and soon the skies will be filled with the sounds of battle. Paris and Helen reach the city, knowing they are the spark that will ignite the flames. As the sun sets on Troy, Paris looks at its walls, strong and proud. He knows they will be tested, that the days ahead will be filled with challenges. But he also knows he must stand for what he believes, for love, and for the home he's sworn to protect. This is the beginning of a great story, one of heroes and hearts, of battles and dreams. It's a story that will be told for ages, a tale of a city, a prince, and a love that dared to defy the world. This is the story of Troy, of whispers that turned into war, and of the choices that make us who we are. Chapter 2. A Spark in Sparta. In the city of Sparta, the air is different. It's a place of warriors and strict rules. Here, Queen Helen lives in a grand palace, but inside, she feels like a bird in a cage. Her life is full of duties and empty of choices. Every day is the same. And she longs for something more, something that stirs her heart. One sunny morning, as Helen walks through the gardens, her thoughts are far away. She dreams of a life where she can be free to love and live as she wishes. But she knows it's just a dream. As a queen, her path is set by others. Suddenly the peace is broken. A messenger arrives, breathless and excited. "A visitor from Troy," he says. Helen's heart skips a beat. Troy, the famous city of wealth and mystery. Who could it be, and why come to Sparta? The visitor is brought to the palace. He's a young prince, they say, named Paris. He's here to talk about peace and friendship. Helen's curiosity grows. A prince from a faraway land, right here in her city. When Helen meets Paris, it's like a spark in the dry wood. He's different from anyone she's ever met. He talks of distant places and great adventures. His eyes shine with life and passion. And when he looks at her, she feels something she's never felt before. They talk for hours, forgetting the world around them. Paris tells Helen about his city, about the walls built by gods, and the people who laugh and dance in the streets. He speaks of his dreams, of a world where people are free to follow their hearts. Helen listens, her own heart beating faster. Here is someone who understands her, who sees her not just as a queen, but as a person. With Paris, she feels alive, like she can truly breathe for the first time. But as they talk, Helen remembers her reality. She is a queen, married to King Menelaus. Her life is not her own. She tries to push her feelings away, but it's like trying to hold back the sea. Days pass, and Paris stays in Sparta. He's a guest of honor, invited to feasts and meetings. But whenever he and Helen meet, the air changes. Everyone can feel it, a connection strong and silent. They steal moments together, walking in the gardens or talking under the stars. Helen shows Paris her favorite places, the quiet corners where she goes to think and dream. And as they share these moments, the spark between them grows into a flame. But with the flame comes fear. Helen knows they are walking a dangerous path. If anyone finds out about their feelings, there will be trouble. Paris is from Troy, a city far away, with its own enemies and allies. And Helen is not just a queen, but a symbol, a key to power and alliances. They talk about the future, about what could be. Paris asks Helen to come away with him, to leave Sparta and start a new life in Troy. It's a wild, impossible idea. But for Helen, it's a temptation like no other. She thinks of her life in Sparta, the endless days of duty and silence. And then she thinks of Paris, of the laughter and freedom he represents. The choice is hers, but it's like choosing between the ground and the sky. As the night before Paris's departure arrives, Helen is torn. She knows what is right, what her duty is, but her heart wants something else, something just for her. In the quiet before dawn, Helen makes her choice. It's a choice that will change everything, not just for her, but for the whole world. She leaves a note for her maids and slips away from the palace. Outside, Paris is waiting. They look at each other, knowing what this means. Together, they ride away from Sparta, away from the life Helen has known. As they go, the first light of dawn touches the sky. A new day full of unknowns. Back in Sparta, the news spreads like wildfire. Helen, the queen, is gone. Menelaus, the king, is furious. He calls his allies, reminding them of their oaths. The spark that started in Sparta is about to ignite a great war, a war that will be remembered for centuries. But for now, Helen and Paris are only thinking of each other. They are together, free from the rules and expectations that held them back. As they travel towards Troy, they know they are heading into a storm. But they also know they have each other, and for now, that's all that matters. This is the story of a spark in Sparta, of a queen and a prince who dared to dream of something more. It's a story of love and choices, of the moments that define us. As Helen and Paris look towards their future, the world holds its breath, waiting to see what will happen when a spark turns into a flame. Chapter 3. The Oath of Tyndareus. In the world of kings and warriors, an ancient promise holds great power. Long ago, when Helen was to choose her husband, her father made every suitor swear an oath. They promised to protect her choice and stand by it, no matter what came to pass. This oath, known as the Oath of Tyndareus, was a bond between the mightiest men of the age. Now, with Helen gone, this old promise stirs from its sleep. Menelaus, her husband and king of Sparta, calls upon this oath. He sends messages far and wide, to every corner where these suitors now rule as kings and princes. The time has come, he says, to remember their promise. One by one, the kings and princes prepare to meet. Some are old friends, others rivals. But the oath binds them all. They gather in Sparta, a city now filled with anger and the thirst for revenge. As they arrive, each man brings his own story, his own dreams and fears. Some come for honor, others for power. But all know that the days ahead will test them in ways they cannot imagine. The first to speak is King Agamemnon, Menelaus's brother, and the most powerful among them. His voice is like thunder as he calls for unity. "We swore an oath," he says, "and the time has come to honor it. Helen must be returned, and Troy must pay for this insult." Others join his call, their voices rising in agreement. But some are hesitant, remembering the dangers of war. They think of their people and the cost they all must pay. But the oath is strong, and their honor binds them. As they talk, the air is heavy with plans and strategies. Maps are spread, and messengers run back and forth. The kings and princes know this will be no easy task. Troy is far away across the sea, and its walls are said to be unbreakable. But the oath drives them forward. They think of Helen, her beauty and her plight. And they think of their own pride, the need to show the world that their word is their bond. In the midst of all this, Menelaus stands, a figure of sorrow and rage. He talks of his love for Helen, of the life they shared. His words move the hearts of all who hear him. They see his pain, and it fuels their own resolve. The meeting lasts long into the night. Plans are made, and oaths are sworn once again. Each man knows that the path ahead is fraught with danger, but they also know that they cannot turn back. The die has been cast, and their fate is now tied to the winds of war. As dawn breaks, the kings and princes prepare to leave. They return to their lands to gather their forces. Everywhere the call to arms is sounded. Men leave their homes and families, not knowing if they will return. Ships are built, swords are sharpened, and shields are polished. The world of men braces for a storm that will shake the very foundations of their time. And as they prepare, they think of Troy, of its tall walls and brave warriors. They know that the battle ahead will be won for the ages, a story that will be told for generations. But for now, they focus on the journey ahead. They think of the sea, wide and mysterious, that lies between them and their destiny. They think of their comrades, the men who stand beside them, bound by an ancient oath. As the first ships set sail, the sun rises over a world on the brink of change. The kings and princes look towards the horizon, their hearts filled with a mix of fear and hope. They know that they are part of something greater than themselves, a story that will echo through time. This is the tale of the Oath of Tyndareus, a promise made long ago that now leads men to war. It's a story of honor and duty, of the bonds that tie us to our past and to each other. As the ships disappear into the distance, the world holds its breath, waiting to see what the future will bring. Chapter 4. Shattered Bonds. In the land of Sparta, the news spreads like a storm. Helen, the queen, has vanished into the night. Along with her, Paris of Troy has disappeared as well. This shocking event sends ripples across the world. Every city and village buzzes with the tale. It's a story of love and betrayal, a drama that captures the hearts of all who hear it. King Menelaus stands in his palace, his heart broken and his pride wounded. The love of his life, Helen, has gone. The betrayal cuts deeper than a sword. His eyes, once warm, now burn with a fire for revenge. He cannot let this act go unanswered. The honor of Sparta, his honor, demands action. Menelaus remembers the ancient oath, the promise made by kings and princes long ago. They swore to protect Helen's choice, to stand together if her hand was ever forced. Now, Menelaus calls upon this oath. He sends messengers to every corner of the land, to every man who once sought Helen's hand. The message is clear and strong. Come, it says, fulfill your oath. Stand with Sparta against Troy. Menelaus's voice, filled with pain and anger, leaves no room for doubt. This is not just a call to arms, it's a cry for justice. As the call goes out, the world reacts. Some are shocked, others excited. War is a dangerous game, but it also brings a chance for glory and power. The kings and princes who swore the oath now face a choice. Some are eager, ready to honor their word and join the fight. Others hesitate, weighing the risk against the reward. But the oath is a powerful thing, a bond that cannot be easily broken. One by one, the kings and princes prepare to answer the call. They gather their armies, mighty forces ready to march to war. The lands buzz with activity as men say goodbye to their families and prepare for battle. In Sparta, Menelaus watches as the allies arrive. Each new arrival strengthens his resolve. He sees the faces of old friends and former rivals, all now united for a common cause. The air is thick with anticipation, as men talk of battles to come. They sharpen their swords and polish their armor, ready to fight for honor and revenge. But amidst the preparations there are whispers of doubt. Some wonder if this war is just. Helen left with Paris, yes, but was it her choice or was she taken against her will? The truth is a shadow, hidden and complex. But Menelaus's pain and anger push these doubts aside. For him there is only one path forward. As the army grows, so does its fame. Stories spread of the mighty force assembling in Sparta. They say it's the greatest army ever seen, a force that could shake the very foundations of the world. And at its head is Menelaus, a king betrayed, a man whose heartbreak fuels his every step. Finally, the day comes. The army is ready, a vast sea of men and metal. Menelaus stands before them, his eyes sweeping over the ranks. He sees the faces of warriors and friends, all ready to follow him into the unknown. He raises his sword, the signal to march. The ground trembles as the army moves, a mighty tide of strength and determination. They march towards the sea, where ships wait to carry them across the water to Troy. The journey is long and filled with challenges. Storms rage and waves crash against the ships, but the men are driven by a shared purpose. They think of Helen and the betrayal of Paris. They think of the glory and honor that await them, and they think of the oath, the promise that binds them all together. As they sail, they tell stories to pass the time. Tales of heroes and monsters, of gods and fate. The stories fill the air, a tapestry of dreams and fears. Each man knows the dangers ahead, but they also feel the thrill of the adventure. They are part of something great, a story that will be told for generations, and in the heart of it all is Menelaus. He stands on the deck of his ship, watching the horizon. His face is set, his determination clear. He knows the road ahead will be filled with blood and sorrow, but he also knows he cannot turn back. His honor, his love, and his vengeance drive him forward. This is the tale of shattered bonds, of a world thrown into chaos by a single act. It's a story of love and loss, of honor and betrayal. As the ships sail towards Troy, the world waits and watches. What will happen when these forces collide? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the world will never be the same again. Chapter 5. Assembling Heroes. As the call to arms echoes through the land, it reaches the ears of legends. Mighty warriors whose names are whispered with awe and respect now rise to join the gathering storm. Each comes from a different corner of the world, each with their own story, their own reasons for joining this mighty quest. First, there's Achilles, the greatest warrior of them all. His skills in battle are unmatched, his name feared by enemies far and wide. But Achilles is more than just a fighter. He's a man of deep feelings, torn between his destiny and his desire for a peaceful life. He knows this war could make him a legend forever, but the cost might be more than he's willing to pay. Then there's Odysseus, the cleverest man alive. He's known for his sharp mind and clever tricks. Odysseus doesn't just fight with his sword, he battles with his wits. He's a man who loves his home and family, but the call of adventure and duty is too strong to ignore. He joins the quest, knowing his skills will be crucial in the challenges ahead. As the heroes gather, they bring with them their own warriors, loyal men ready to fight and die for their cause. The camp near Sparta grows larger every day, filled with the noise of men and the clanging of weapons. It's a place of power and pride, where each man knows they are part of something great. But it's not just the famous heroes who make this army strong. There are countless others, each with their own story. There's the young soldier, leaving his love behind, dreaming of glory and honor. There's the old veteran, his scars a map of battles past, who seeks one last adventure. And there's the farmer, who has never held a sword but joins to protect his home and family. Each man in the army has his own hopes and fears, his own reasons for being there. But they all share a common goal: to bring Helen back to Sparta and punish the city of Troy for its betrayal. They are bound together by their oath, their honor, and their desire for victory. The days are filled with training and planning. Men practice their sword play, archers shoot at distant targets, and leaders discuss strategies. There's a feeling of excitement and fear in the air, the sense of an impending storm. The warriors know the battle ahead will be the greatest of their lives, a fight that will be sung about for generations. At night, the camp settles down, but the buzz of talk never fully fades. Men sit around fires, telling stories of their homes and loved ones, their dreams and fears. They speak of the heroes among them, wondering at their strength and courage. And above all, they talk of Troy, the mighty city they will soon face. They know the battle will not be easy, for Troy's walls are strong and its warriors are fierce. But they also know they have some of the greatest heroes the world has ever seen. As the day of departure nears, the tension grows. Final preparations are made, weapons are sharpened, and armor is polished. Men write letters home, full of love and hope, and perhaps a final goodbye. They know not all of them will return, but they also know they are fighting for something greater than themselves. Finally, the day arrives. The army gathers, a sea of men and metal ready to march towards their destiny. At the front stand the heroes, Achilles with his mighty armor, Odysseus with his keen gaze. They are the best of the best, the ones who will lead the way into battle. King Menelaus looks out over the army, his heart heavy but also full of pride. These are his men, his allies, his friends. Together they will face the might of Troy and bring back what was lost. With a signal, the march begins. The ground shakes with the weight of their steps, and the air fills with the sound of their voices. They are more than just an army. They are a force, a wave of courage and strength that nothing can stop. This is the tale of the assembling heroes, the mighty warriors who joined a cause that would change the world. They are legends and ordinary men, each with their own story, but united by a common goal. As they march towards Troy, their journey is just beginning. But their names, their deeds, and their courage will be remembered forever. Chapter 6. Seas of Fate. The morning sun rises over a sea of ships, their sails like wings ready to take flight. The Achaean fleet, a mighty armada of warriors and heroes, prepares to cross the seas of fate. They stand on the brink of a journey that will lead them into legend. Menelaus and his allies, with their hearts set on Troy, look out across the water, their eyes filled with determination and fear. The ships set sail, cutting through the waves with grace and power. The sea is a vast, mysterious world full of wonders and dangers. The men know that the journey ahead will be long and hard, but they are driven by their oath and their desire for vengeance. As they sail, the sky above them is a canvas of colours, a mix of blues, whites, and greys. The sea beneath them is a living thing, changing from calm to stormy in the blink of an eye. The sailors, skilled and brave, guide their ships through the water, their hands steady and their eyes sharp. But the sea is not the only challenge they face. Omens and signs appear, stirring fear and awe in the hearts of the men. A bird, flying the wrong way, a strange shape in the clouds, a dream that haunts a warrior's sleep. Each omen is a message, a warning of the struggles to come. The leaders of the fleet, men like Achilles and Odysseus, watch for these signs. They know that the gods watch over their journey, guiding and testing them. They offer prayers and sacrifices, hoping to win favor and protection. But they also know that their fate is in their own hands, that their strength and courage will be the key to their success or failure. As they sail further from home, the reality of their quest sinks in. They are heading into unknown territory, towards a city that has never been conquered. The men talk of the walls of Troy, tall and strong, and the warriors who defend them. They know the battle ahead will be fierce and deadly. But amidst the fear, there is also excitement. This is what they have trained for, what they have dreamed of. Each man is part of a story that will be told for generations. They are not just warriors. They are heroes, fighting for honor and glory. The days pass, and the fleet encounters its first real test. A storm rises, fierce and wild, a raging beast that seeks to swallow the ship's whole. The sky turns dark, and the waves crash against the hulls, each one a hammer blow from the gods. The men fight against the storm, battling to keep their ships afloat. They work together, their voices shouting over the roar of the wind and water. It's a battle for survival, a test of their will and skill. And then, as quickly as it began, the storm fades. The sky clears, and the sea calms. The men look around, counting the cost. Some ships are lost, swallowed by the waves, but most have survived, battered but unbroken. The fleet regroups, the leaders taking stock of their situation. They mourn the lost, but they also celebrate their survival. They have faced the wrath of the sea and lived to tell the tale. It's a sign, they say, a proof of their strength and their right to seek vengeance. As they continue their journey, the men grow closer. They share stories and songs, laughter and tears. They train and plan, preparing for the battle to come. And as they do, they become more than just an army. They become a band of brothers, united by a common cause. The days turn into weeks, and the fleet draws ever closer to Troy. The men can feel it, the pull of their destiny. They are almost there, almost ready to face their greatest challenge. This is the tale of the seas of fate, of a journey that tested the hearts and souls of men. It's a story of struggle and survival, of omens and oracles. As the fleet sails towards Troy, the world watches and waits. The stage is set, the players are ready. The saga of Troy, of love and war, is about to begin, and nothing will ever be the same again. Chapter 7. The Immortal City. Far away from the churning seas, within the mighty walls of Troy, the city buzzes with activity. Word has reached them of the approaching fleet, an armada of ships sailing towards their shores. The people of Troy, proud and brave, prepare to defend their home against the mightiest army the world has ever seen. King Priam, the wise and noble ruler, stands at the battlements, looking out over his city. He has ruled Troy for many years, seen it grow and prosper. Now he faces the greatest challenge of his reign. His heart is heavy, but his resolve is strong. He will do whatever it takes to protect his people and his city. The walls of Troy are legendary, built by the gods themselves. They rise high into the sky, a testament to the city's strength and power. But Priam knows that walls alone cannot save them. It will take the courage and skill of every man, woman and child in Troy to withstand the storm that's coming. The city springs into action. Men train in the courtyards, their swords and shields clashing in the sun. Women prepare food and bandages, knowing they must support the fighters in any way they can. Children run messages and carry supplies, their eyes wide with fear and excitement. Everywhere there is a sense of urgency, a feeling that time is running out. The people of Troy know the stories of the Achaeans, of their heroes and their ferocity in battle. They know that the fight to come will be fierce and deadly. But there is also a sense of pride and defiance. Troy has stood for centuries, a beacon of culture and strength. Its people are not easily cowed or conquered. They will stand and fight for their homes, their families, and their honor. Priam calls his council the wisest and bravest of his people. They gather around him, their faces set and determined. Together they plan the defense of the city, each one contributing their knowledge and skill. They talk of strategies and tactics, of how to use the city's walls and gates to their advantage. They speak of the heroes in the Achaean ranks, of Achilles and Odysseus, and how they might be countered. Every word, every plan is focused on one thing: survival. As the days pass, the sense of anticipation grows. Scouts report that the Achaean fleet is drawing closer, their sails like dark clouds on the horizon. The people of Troy gather on the walls, watching as the enemy approaches. Their hearts beat fast, but they are not afraid. They are ready to fight, to defend their city to the last. Priam stands with them, his family and warriors by his side. He looks at the faces of his people, their eyes filled with trust and determination. He knows what they are about to face, the hardship and the horror. But he also knows they will face it together, as one. As the sun sets on the final day before the battle, Troy is a city holding its breath. The streets are quiet, the walls silent and watchful. The people wait, their hearts and swords ready. This is the story of the immortal city, of Troy and its people as they brace for the siege. It's a tale of courage and fear, of walls and warriors. As the night falls and the enemy draws near, the city stands strong, a beacon of hope and defiance in a world about to change forever. Troy is ready, its people united. The storm is coming, but they will face it together. And whatever happens, their story, the story of Troy, will never be forgotten. Chapter 8. First Blood. The dawn breaks over the Trojan plains, a land soon to be stained by the clash of titans. The Achaeans, a sea of warriors and heroes, stand ready, their armor gleaming in the morning light. Across from them, the defenders of Troy, proud and fierce, line up to protect their beloved city. The air is thick with tension, a silent moment before the storm. As the sun rises higher, the two armies move. It's like a dance, a deadly ballet of strategy and strength. The commanders on both sides give their orders, their voices clear and strong. The soldiers know their roles, each man a crucial piece in the great game of war. The first to engage are the archers, their bows singing as they release a rain of arrows. The sky darkens with their deadly dance, each missile seeking life. Shields are raised in defense, the sound of impact, a constant drumbeat. Some fall, their journeys ended, but most press on, driven by duty and the will to survive. Then comes the clash of infantry, the heart of the battle. Men charge and collide, a wave of metal and muscle. The sound is overwhelming, a cacophony of steel, shouts, and pain. Each warrior fights not just for himself, but for the man next to him, for the cause that has brought them to this bloody field. Among the ranks, the heroes stand out, their skills and strength beyond that of normal men. Achilles, like a god of war, moves through the fight, his armor untouched, his enemies falling before him. On the Trojan side, Hector, the prince and protector of the city, stands tall, his sword a beacon of hope for his people. The battle rages on, neither side giving ground. The plains become a maze of fights and duels, each one a story of life and death. Men who were farmers, traders and fathers become soldiers, their fates decided in the clash of swords. As the day wears on, the cost of the battle becomes clear. The ground is littered with the fallen, their dreams and hopes silenced. Those still fighting are tired and wounded, but they press on, driven by the knowledge that this is just the beginning. The war will be long, and this is but the first of many battles. In the midst of the chaos, moments of humanity shine through. A warrior pauses to help a fallen comrade. Enemies share a look of mutual respect. A young soldier thinks of home. These moments are brief, but they remind everyone that, despite the war, they are all human. As the sun begins to set, the commanders call for a retreat. The battle is over, for now. Both sides pull back, leaving the field to the quiet dead. The survivors are left to reflect on what has happened, to mourn the lost and tend the wounded. The first blood has been spilled, the first chapter in a long and bloody saga. The warriors know that tomorrow will bring more fighting, more pain. But for now, they rest, their hearts heavy with the weight of what they've seen and done. This is the tale of the first blood, the opening act in the great drama of the Trojan War. It's a story of heroes and ordinary men, of strategy and chance, of life and death. The plains of Troy have seen the beginning of the conflict, but they will see much more before the end. The war has just begun, and many more will fall before it's over. But the story of this day, of the courage and tragedy it brought, will be remembered. It's a tale of what men are capable of, both the good and the bad, in the heat of battle and the heart of war. Chapter 9. The Duel of Champions. On the plains before the walls of Troy, the armies stand silent, a sea of warriors holding their breath. Today, the clash of thousands will be stilled, the fate of many resting in the hands of two. Paris of Troy and Menelaus of Sparta, the lover and the husband, will face each other in a duel that could shape the destiny of all. The sun casts long shadows as the two champions step forward. Paris, with the grace of a prince and the fire of a lover, moves with a quiet confidence. His eyes, however, betray a flicker of doubt, a hint of the heavy burden he carries. He's not just fighting for his life, but for love, for Helen, and for the pride of his city. Opposite him stands Menelaus, the wronged king, a figure of raw power and burning anger. His heart is a storm of hurt and rage. For him, this fight is about more than just winning or losing. It's about honor, about reclaiming what was taken from him. His gaze on Paris is like a blade, sharp and full of intent. The rules are simple: a fight to the end until one can fight no more. The victor's army will be honored, the losers expected to yield. It's a gamble, but one that could end the war, spare countless lives. The stakes could not be higher. As they prepare, the two armies watch, a silent audience to this drama. Each man knows the outcome will affect his fate. Whispers and prayers fill the air, a murmur like the wind before the storm. Then, with a signal, the duel begins. Paris and Menelaus circle each other, their movements cautious. This is a dance of death. Each step, each swing, each parry could be the last. The clashing of their swords rings out, a harsh music for a grim ballet. Paris is quick, his strikes like the strikes of a snake. But Menelaus is strong, his blows powerful and heavy. They are a study in contrasts, the prince and the king, the lover and the husband. As they fight, their reasons, their stories, seem to clash in the air between them. For Paris, it's the memory of Helen's smile, the softness of her voice. For Menelaus, it's the coldness of his bed, the silence of his hall. The fight goes on, neither able to gain the upper hand. They are too evenly matched, each driven by too strong a cause. The onlookers hold their breath, the tension like a tightrope in the air. But then, a slip, a moment's hesitation. Paris stumbles, and Menelaus sees his chance. With a roar he strikes, a blow that sends Paris to the ground. The Trojans gasp, the Achaeans cheer. But the fight is not over yet. Paris is down, but not defeated. With an effort he rises, his eyes burning with a new resolve. He knows what's at stake, the lives and honor of his people, the love of Helen. With a cry he attacks, pushing Menelaus back with a flurry of blows. The duel turns fierce, a storm of steel and sweat. They are no longer just men, but symbols, representatives of their people's hopes and fears. The air is thick with the weight of what this fight means. As the sun begins to set, casting long shadows over the battlefield, the end comes. In a final clash, Paris's sword finds its mark, a strike that wounds Menelaus, brings him to his knees. The Trojans cheer, the Achaeans cry out in dismay. But the fight is done, the duel decided. Paris stands over Menelaus, his chest heaving, his sword dripping. But there's no joy in his eyes, only a deep, heavy sadness. He knows this is not the end, that the war will go on. Too much has happened. Too much blood has been spilled. This duel, no matter its outcome, was never going to be enough. The two armies come together, to tend to their champions, to carry them back to their camps. The plains are quiet now, the moment of decision past. But the air is still heavy, the future uncertain. This is the tale of the duel of champions, a story of honor and vengeance, love and loss. Paris and Menelaus faced each other, not just as men, but as the living hopes and fears of their people. The duel is over, but the war goes on, and the story of Troy, of all those caught in its fate, continues. Chapter 10. The Wrath of Achilles. On the battle-scarred plains of Troy, a figure stands alone, a warrior like no other. Achilles, the greatest of all the Achaeans, is a storm of rage and skill. His name is a whisper of fear among his enemies, a shout of respect among his allies. But today, the mighty Achilles faces a battle not just against Troy, but within himself. As the sun rises, painting the sky with the colors of fire, Achilles prepares for battle. His armor shines like the sun itself, a gift from the gods, a testament to his greatness. He moves among his men, the Myrmidons, a band of warriors as fierce and loyal as their leader. They are ready to follow him into the heart of darkness, to fight and die at his command. The battle begins, a clash of wills and steel. Achilles leads the charge, a force of nature, unstoppable and terrifying. His spear dances like lightning, his shield a rock against the storm. Trojan warriors fall before him, their defences meaningless against his might. But as he fights, a shadow grows in Achilles' heart. He is a warrior without equal, but he is also a man, and a man can be hurt, can be broken. He fights not just for glory, but for revenge, for the wrongs done to him and his loved ones. And with each swing of his sword, with each life he takes, the shadow grows darker. The crisis comes when Agamemnon, the leader of the Achaeans, takes a prize from Achilles, a symbol of honor and respect. It's a slight, a public humiliation. And to a man like Achilles, honor is everything. His pride wounded, his anger burning like a fire, Achilles makes a choice that will change the course of the war. He withdraws from the battle, takes his myrmidons, and retreats to his tent. The greatest warrior of the Achaeans, the man upon whom so much rests, sits out the fight. It's a decision that shocks the camp, that sends ripples of fear and doubt through the ranks. Without Achilles, the Achaeans are weakened, their edge blunted. The Trojans, sensing the shift, push back harder, their spirits lifted. The tide of the war seems to turn, the once mighty Achaeans now on the back foot, struggling to hold their ground. In his tent, Achilles wrestles with his pride and his duty. He knows his absence costs lives, knows his skills are needed. But he also feels betrayed, his honor trampled upon. It's a personal crisis, a battle between his heart and his head. As the days pass, Achilles watches from afar, the sounds of battle a constant reminder of his choice. His men look to him, their eyes filled with questions and worry. They are loyal to him, but they also know that they are part of something bigger, a cause that needs them. Finally, a friend and comrade, Patroclus, comes to Achilles. He pleads with the great warrior, speaks of the cost of his pride. He talks of the men dying, of the city that needs to be taken, of the war that needs to be won. And then he asks for permission to fight in Achilles' place, to wear his armor and lead the Myrmidons. Achilles is torn. He loves Patroclus, trusts him more than anyone. But he knows the danger, knows that without him Patroclus is vulnerable. In the end, however, he agrees. He can't deny his friend, can't ignore the needs of the war. He gives his armor, watches as Patroclus dons it, a mirror image of Achilles himself. As Patroclus rides out to battle, Achilles stands alone, his heart heavy. He watches as his friend fights, as his men follow. The battle rages, and for a moment it seems as if the Achaeans might turn the tide. But then disaster strikes. Patroclus, brave and bold, falls. The news reaches Achilles, a blow more painful than any wound. His friend, his brother in all but blood, gone, taken by the war he tried to avoid. The loss is a catalyst, a moment of clarity. Achilles realizes the cost of his pride, the weight of his choices. He knows what he must do, knows that he must return to the fight, not for glory or honor, but for Patroclus, for all those who have fallen. The wrath of Achilles is about to be unleashed, a force more terrifying and deadly than anything the Trojans have faced. He will go back to the battle, his heart filled with grief and rage. The war is far from over, and Achilles' story is not yet done. But one thing is certain. The plains of Troy will feel his fury, and nothing will ever be the same again. Chapter 11. Gifts of Deception. In the camp of the Achaeans, the mood is grim. The war drags on, a brutal test of wills and strength. Each day brings more loss, more pain. The walls of Troy, tall and unyielding, seem to mock them, a constant reminder of their failure. But in the midst of despair, a spark of hope flares. Odysseus, the cleverest of all the Achaeans, known for his wits and tricks, devises a plan. It's a scheme so bold, so daring, that it might just work. Odysseus gathers the leaders, men tired of war and hungry for victory. He speaks to them, his voice low and steady. "We've fought hard," he says, "but brute force alone won't win this war. We need something more, something clever." He lays out his plan. a strategy that relies on deception and guile. It's a risk, a gamble that could end in disaster. But the leaders listen. Their interest piqued. They're desperate, ready to try anything that might bring them closer to victory. The plan is simple, yet audacious. They will build a giant wooden horse, an offering to the gods, a symbol of their supposed surrender. Inside, the best of the Achaean warriors will hide, waiting for their moment. The rest of the army will sail away, a ruse to make the Trojans think they've given up. The leaders agree, their hearts lifted by the prospect of an end to the war. The carpenters and craftsmen set to work, building the horse. It's a massive structure, tall and imposing. The work is hard, but the men are driven, fueled by the hope of home and peace. As the horse takes shape, Odysseus chooses the men who will hide inside. They are the bravest of the brave, warriors who understand the danger, but are willing to face it for the chance of victory. They prepare in secret, their hearts set on their risky mission. Finally, the horse is ready, a magnificent and eerie sight. The Achaeans place it before the gates of Troy, a gift and a trap. Then, as the sun sets, they sail away, their ships disappearing over the horizon. The stage is set, the trap laid. Now they wait. In Troy, the sight of the deserted Achaean camp and the giant horse causes a stir. The people are wary, suspicious of Greek gifts, but they're also curious, and a sense of victory, of relief, fills the air. The war, it seems, is over. The Trojans debate what to do with the horse. Some, like the wise Laocoon and the cautious Cassandra, warn against bringing it into the city. They sense the danger, the deceit, but their warnings go unheeded. The prospect of victory, of the end of the siege, is too strong. In the end, the Trojans pull the horse into the city, a trophy and a supposed token of the gods' favor. They celebrate, their joy echoing through the streets. For a moment, it seems like the long nightmare is over. But as night falls, the truth of the Greek gift reveals itself. The hidden Achaeans, led by Odysseus, slip out of the horse. They open the gates, letting in the rest of their forces, who've returned under cover of darkness. The city, caught off guard and filled with revelers, is thrown into chaos. The battle is brutal, a massacre rather than a fight. The Trojans, surprised and unarmed, stand little chance. The streets run red with blood, the air filled with the sounds of fighting and despair. The Achaeans, driven by years of war and the desire for revenge, show no mercy. They move through the city, a tide of death and destruction. Troy, the mighty and proud, falls, its end as tragic as it was inevitable. This is the tale of the gifts of deception, of the infamous Trojan horse, and the fall of a great city. It's a story of cunning and bravery, of hope and despair. Odysseus, with his bold plan, has changed the course of the war, brought an end to the years of fighting. But the victory is a bitter one, the triumph tainted by the cost at which it came. The sun rises over a Troy in ruins, its streets silent, its people gone. The war is over, but at what price? The Achaeans will return home, their mission complete. But the echoes of what happened here, of the choices made and the lives lost, will follow them. The story of Troy, of the horse and the fall, will be told for generations, a tale of warning and woe, and at its heart will always be the reminder, a lesson hard learned and never to be forgotten. Beware of Greeks bearing gifts. Chapter 12. Night of Flames. As night falls over Troy, a city once proud and mighty, a shadow of treachery creeps within its walls. The Greeks, hidden inside the wooden horse, emerge silently into the darkness. Their footsteps are soft, but their intentions are as sharp as their swords. Troy, unaware and unprepared, sleeps peacefully, not knowing that this night will be its last. The Greek warriors move through the city like ghosts, their eyes set on their grim task. They reach the gates, their hands steady as they open them, letting in their waiting comrades. The night air is suddenly filled with the sound of 1,000 whispers, the Greek army pouring into Troy like a flood. The city awakens to a nightmare. The Trojans, surprised and confused, scramble to defend their homes. But it's too late. The enemy is already inside. The streets become a maze of fear and chaos, the sound of fighting echoing off the walls. Troy, which stood unbreached for 10 long years, crumbles from within. Houses are set ablaze, the flames lighting up the night sky. The fire spreads quickly, fed by the wind and the wooden structures. The people run, trying to escape the destruction, but the paths are blocked by fighting and debris. The once beautiful city is now a landscape of horror, a tableau of desperation and despair. In the royal palace, King Priam rises from his bed, his heart heavy with dread. He knows what this means, the end of everything he has loved and ruled. He dons his armor, an old man preparing for his final fight. Around him, his family gathers, their faces pale and scared. They are the royalty of Troy, but tonight they are just as vulnerable as the lowest of their subjects. Outside, the battle rages on. Achilles, his heart filled with rage and grief, seeks out Hector, the Trojan prince. Their duel is fierce, a clash of 2 great warriors. But in the end, Achilles prevails, his spear finding its mark. Hector falls, the protector of Troy gone, his body dragged away as a final insult. The Trojans fight bravely, but they are outnumbered and outmatched. Their city betrays them, the narrow streets and familiar houses now obstacles in their fight. The Greeks move through Troy like a tide, unstoppable and relentless. As the night goes on, the destruction continues. The flames reach the heavens, a beacon of the tragedy unfolding below. The screams and cries fill the air, a chorus of the doomed. Troy, once a symbol of wealth and power, is now a tomb. And then, as the first light of dawn touches the sky, the fighting stops. The Greeks, tired and bloodied, look around at what they have done. The city is quiet, the only sound the crackling of fires and the soft moans of the wounded. The sun rises over a Troy in ruins. The walls still stand, but everything inside is destroyed. Bodies lie in the streets, the survivors wander like ghosts, their lives shattered beyond repair. The treasure of Troy, its gold and artwork, is looted, carried away by the victors. This is the night of flames, the fall of a great city. It's a story of treachery and tragedy, of a people betrayed and a culture lost. The Greeks have their victory, but it's a hollow one, bought with too much blood and sorrow. The tale of Troy is ending, the final chapter written in fire and steel. The survivors will scatter, their stories carried on the wind. And for generations to come, people will speak of this night, of the city that burned and the price of war. They will remember Troy, not for its beauty or its strength, but for its fall, for the night of flames that turned everything to ash. Chapter 13. Fallen Heroes. As dawn breaks over the smouldering ruins of Troy, a heavy silence hangs in the air. The night of flames has passed, but its aftermath is a grim landscape of loss and sorrow. Both the Greeks and the Trojans count the cost of their long and brutal war, a tally of lives that can never be repaid. The ground is littered with the fallen heroes and ordinary men alike, their stories ending in the dust. In the Greek camp, there is no sound of victory, no cheers of triumph. Instead, there is only mourning. The warriors, who set out with dreams of glory and honor, now look upon the destruction they have wrought with heavy hearts. They have won, but the price has been high. Friends and comrades who stood beside them are now gone, their laughter and courage remembered, but their presence forever missed. Achilles, the greatest of the Greek warriors, feels the weight of loss more than any other. He has achieved his revenge, but it has cost him dearly. Patroclus, his dearest friend, lies among the fallen, a victim of the war and Achilles' own pride. The pain of this loss cuts deeper than any wound, a constant ache that will never fade. Among the Trojans, the grief is overwhelming. Their city, once a jewel of the world, is now nothing but ash and rubble. Families are torn apart, their homes and lives destroyed. King Priam, the old ruler of Troy, has witnessed the downfall of everything he held dear, his sons, his warriors, even his beloved city. All are lost. The future is a dark road, and he walks it with a heavy heart. As the day goes on, the task of tending to the dead begins. Both sides gather their fallen, treating friend and foe alike with respect. They are all warriors, all deserving of honor in death. The pyres are lit, and the smoke rises to the heavens, carrying the souls of the departed. The stories of the fallen heroes are told and retold, their deeds becoming legend. Achilles, Hector, Patroclus, and many others are now part of a tale that will be passed down through the ages. They are remembered not just for how they died, but for how they lived, for the courage, honor, and friendship they showed. The survivors, both Greek and Trojan, look upon the aftermath and ponder the cost of war. They have seen what hatred and revenge can do, the destruction it can cause. The memories of the fallen will stay with them, a constant reminder of the price of glory. As the sun sets on this day of mourning, the world feels a little emptier, a little quieter. The war is over, but its echoes will last forever. The fallen heroes have left a void that can never be filled. Their sacrifice is a lesson to all who remember them. This is the tale of the fallen heroes, of the human cost of war. It's a story of pain and loss, but also of bravery and sacrifice. The heroes of Troy and Greece may be gone, but they will never be forgotten. Their stories, their legacies, will live on. A testament to the fact that even in the darkest of times, there is light to be found in the courage of those who stand against the storm. Chapter 14. Lament of the Queen. In the aftermath of Troy's fall, amidst the ashes and the ruin, a solitary figure moves through the shattered streets. It is Hecuba, the Queen of Troy, a mother and wife, her once proud bearing now bent with grief. The city she loved, the family she cherished, all have been torn from her in the cruel games of gods and men. Hecuba walks among the remnants of her life, her footsteps echoing in the empty halls of her once grand palace. Each step is a reminder of what she has lost. Her husband, King Priam, the love of her youth, lies among the fallen, his wisdom and strength no more. Her children, brave and beautiful, have been scattered like leaves in the wind, some slain, others lost to the cruelty of fate. The Queen's eyes, once bright with intelligence and fire, are now dimmed with unending sorrow. Her voice, when she speaks, is a lament, a song of despair for the city that was and the lives that were. "O Troy," she whispers, "my heart, my home. What have the gods done to you? What have we done to deserve such wrath?" Around her, the survivors of Troy move like shadows, their faces etched with the same pain that grips Hecuba's soul. They look to her, their queen, for comfort and guidance. But what can she give them? She is as lost as they are, a ship adrift in a sea of sorrow. As she moves through the city, Hecuba's mind is a whirl of memories. She remembers the days of joy and celebration, the nights filled with music and laughter. She remembers her children as they were, full of life and dreams. And she remembers the war, the terrible, endless war that took everything from her. The Queen's grief is a tangible thing, a weight that presses down on her, suffocating and relentless. She feels it in every stone of Troy's walls, in every whisper of the wind. It is a constant companion, a reminder of the cost of pride and anger, of the fleeting nature of power and glory. But even in the depths of her despair, Hecuba's spirit is not completely broken. Beneath the sorrow, there is a spark of something else, a strength that even she doesn't fully understand. It is the strength of a mother, a queen, a woman who has seen the worst that the world can offer and still stands. As the day fades to night, Hecuba stands on the walls of her city, looking out at the world that has changed so much. She knows that the future is uncertain, that the road ahead will be hard. But she also knows that she must go on, for the sake of those who remain, for the memory of those who are gone. The Queen's lament is a song of loss, but it is also a song of survival. In her heart, she carries the legacy of Troy, the love and the courage of her people. They may be gone, but they are not forgotten. And as long as Hecuba lives, they never will be. This is the tale of the Lament of the Queen, a story of sorrow and strength. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can endure. Hecuba, the Queen of Troy, has lost everything. But she is still here, still standing amidst the ruins, and as long as she lives, the story of Troy will live with her. Chapter 15. Ashes of a Legacy. In the stillness that follows the storm of war, the once mighty city of Troy lies in ruins, a somber testament to the ravages of conflict. The survivors, both Greek and Trojan, wander through the wreckage, their hearts heavy with the burden of what has passed. They are victors and vanquished alike, united in their loss, their souls etched with scars that will never fully heal. The warriors, once so full of fire and purpose, now gaze upon the ashes of a legacy that has crumbled beneath their hands. The glory and honor they sought through the clash of swords feel like distant, hollow dreams. They have won, but the taste of victory is bittersweet, tinged with the grief of countless lives lost and a world forever changed. Amidst the broken stones and charred remains, the survivors reflect on the ephemeral nature of power and pride. Kingdoms and crowns, once so bright and alluring, now seem fragile, easily shattered by the harsh light of reality. The war has taught them the hard truth that glory is fleeting, and honor is often found not in triumph, but in mercy, understanding, and the grace to forgive. The Greek warriors, preparing to return home, find that their thoughts are not of triumphant parades or laurels of victory, but of the faces and voices of those who will not make the journey back. Each ship that sets sail carries not just the living but also the memories of the fallen, a silent cargo of sorrow and regret. For the Trojans, the survivors of a city lost to the flames of war, the future is uncertain. They must now forge a new path among the ruins, find a way to rebuild not just their homes but their lives. They gather together, their spirit unbroken despite the devastation, their resolve strengthened by the love and memories of what they once were. In the quiet moments, when the clamour of battle feels like a distant echo, the survivors ponder the lessons of the war. They speak of the futility of anger and vengeance, of the preciousness of peace and understanding. They share their stories, not of heroic deeds or great conquests, but of small acts of kindness, moments of compassion, and the bonds forged in the shadow of adversity. As the sun sets over the ruins of Troy, casting long shadows and painting the sky with hues of gold and crimson, the survivors come together. Greeks and Trojans side by side, they light a pyre, a beacon in the gathering dusk. It is a tribute, not to the gods of war, but to the spirit of humanity, to the resilience and courage that endure even in the darkest of times. The flames rise high, their warm light a contrast to the cool, sombre stones. The fire crackles and dances, a lively spirit amidst the stillness. And as the survivors watch, they find a measure of comfort, a sense of connection in the shared glow. For a brief moment, the barriers of language, culture, and enmity fall away, and they are simply people, together beneath the vast, starry sky. This is the tale of the ashes of a legacy, a story of the aftermath of war and the enduring human spirit. It is a reminder that in the end, it is not our conflicts that define us, but how we rise from them, how we learn, heal, and grow. The legacy of Troy, with all its pain and loss, also carries a message of hope and renewal. For even from the ashes, new life can emerge, stronger and more beautiful for having survived the fire. And the story of Troy, with all its echoes of glory and tragedy, continues to live on, a testament to the timeless, universal truths of the human heart. Chapter 16. Echoes Through Time. As the dust settles on the once mighty city of Troy, now a silent testament to the cost of war, the world slowly turns its gaze forward. But the echoes of the epic struggle, the stories of bravery, betrayal, love, and loss, do not fade into the quiet of the past. Instead, they resonate through time, their lessons and legacies weaving into the fabric of history. The tale of the Trojan War, with its complex tapestry of human emotions and experiences, continues to be told and retold. It is whispered by the winds, written in the stars, and carried by the waves. It travels from generation to generation, a timeless narrative that captures the essence of the human spirit. The heroes of Troy, both Greek and Trojan, live on, their names synonymous with valor and honor. Achilles, Hector, Odysseus, and Paris become more than men. They become symbols of the virtues and flaws that reside in all of us. Their stories inspire poets, playwrights, and philosophers to explore the depths of human nature and the complexities of fate and free will. The love of Paris and Helen, a spark that ignited a decade of war, continues to be a poignant reminder of the powerful, often unpredictable, force of love. It's a love that has the power to transcend boundaries and bring people together, but also the potential to lead to destruction and despair. It is a lesson of the heart, a cautionary tale that urges future generations to tread carefully on the delicate ground of human emotions. The strategic genius of Odysseus, the grief and rage of Achilles, the nobility and tragedy of Hector. Each story is a thread in the greater tapestry of Troy. They are tales of human strength and weakness, of the choices that define us, and the legacies we leave behind. They caution against pride and hubris, remind us of the importance of honor and integrity, and illustrate the enduring power of friendship and loyalty. The war also serves as a stark reminder of the horrors and futility of conflict. The burning of Troy, the fall of heroes, and the suffering of countless innocents echo through time as a somber warning. It is a call to value peace and understanding, to remember that the glory of war is a fleeting illusion, and its costs are real and lasting. As the centuries pass, the echoes of Troy reach new ears, each listener finding their own meaning and message in the ancient story. Some see it as a tragic romance, others as a heroic epic, and still others as a cautionary tale about the perils of human folly. But for all, it is a reflection of the enduring human journey, a mirror that reveals our greatest virtues and our most profound weaknesses. The story of Troy becomes a cultural and historical touchstone, a shared heritage that transcends borders and unites humanity in its common quest for understanding and meaning. It is studied by scholars, celebrated in art and literature, and passed down in the stories we tell our children. And as the world changes, as empires rise and fall, as new heroes and stories emerge, the tale of Troy remains, a constant, a reminder of where we've been, and a guide to where we're going. It is a story that belongs to all of us, a piece of our collective soul that continues to inspire, caution, and enlighten. This is the legacy of the Trojan War, the echoes through time. It is a story that refuses to be forgotten, a narrative that continues to shape and be shaped by those who hear it. For as long as there are people to tell it, the story of Troy, with all its tragedy and triumph, love and loss, will continue to live on, a timeless testament to the unending, ever unfolding human story.